Are you kidding me? That's what?
Yeah, every so often it happens that Ryan is right.
100% right. Not even a little bit right.
Tucker Pullman, 2 points last game.
No kidding.
My man!
Hey, neither does me running shirtless, but that turned out very well.
Welcome to the PP1 podcast.
Were you expecting anybody else? No, you weren't. How brash are we that we're going to do a podcast as the Canucks are about to play against Seattle? We're so brash that more people will watch our show, likely, than the Canucks game. It's pretty much how the season's gone.
Well, we know that they're not going to be throwing their PP1 podcast gear out into the streets.
Oh, I wouldn't. You know how much some of this stuff costs? It's not cheap.
Especially because it doesn't really cost them anything.
That's true. That's fair. I mean, if you want one, we've got these for sale. We've got these for sale. Hit me up. $40 gets you probably the most comfortable hoodie you're going to wear all winter. And do you have yours close by any chance? No, probably not. We got with pink logo too as well.
I do have it. I just don't have it. It's upstairs.
That's okay. That's fine. I understand.
I get overheated because I get heated.
You get heated. We have some heated conversations. Yeah, so that's fair. We do have a guest tonight. Joshua Griffith will be here any moment. Again, we're going a little bit early, so sometimes it caught me off guard, but
he was probably set to come on the show, and then he realized that the game was
up. Man, he's got nicer hair than we do.
Way nicer.
Man.
Well, you guys said to do my hair. I'm sorry it took so long.
That's okay. He's decked out. As you're saying, our friend Joshua Griffith. Now, is the 0 part of your last name, or is that just a Twitter thing?
That is a Twitter handle.
Okay,
I was given the prompt to put in, what name, and it gave me up like my full name, like Joshua Douglas Griffith, and I was like, nah, it's too formal.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. So I figured I would just go with my Twitter handle. So when you guys throw to me to plug my Twitter handle at Joshua Griffith 0,
yeah,
I can just go ahead and do that.
That checks out.
Oh wait. Oh no. I always do this.
It's the mirror.
You're the best so far. You're a champion at this because Ted's pretty good at it too. I'm not. There.
Yeah. I know. I'm terrible. I always get the wrong side. Gentlemen, what's happening?
We're gonna talk.
Sorry, I'm late.
Hey, there's no late. There's no. I guess there's early, but usually if you're early, then I haven't sent a link. So, we're just talking about the Canucks currently about to play. Hopefully more people tune into this than the game. I know the fact that we've all committed. I've got it on on silent, but this is clearly going to be a bigger focus because, quite frankly, there's going to be a lot more going on here. I would bank on than the Canucks game tonight. So we'll get into a few things. Let's get to some housekeeping first. As we said, welcome to the PP1 podcast. We're on the Dean Blundell Network. Oh, I didn't do the overlay. I must be a rookie at this or something. There we go. And I just like that. We are partnered with Move Health and Wellness. We will get into that in a little while. And we've got, I've been saying we're going to do this for a while, but I managed to lock them up. And we've all got schedules. We've all got stuff going on. But Joshua Griffith is here to join us. First and foremost, welcome to the PP1 podcast. This is a long time coming. And thanks for the shout out on your article here. That was awesome.
Yeah, no problem. That was a blast to do. I got to talk to so many different people who are doing podcasts. Some of the big wigs. Rick Dollywall was kind enough to give me a response.
Yeah.
For what they're doing on Dolly and Dolly, on Check TV there. So it was a blast, and I was more than happy to shout out the PP1 podcast because I really enjoy what you guys are doing, and just gives more light on local coverage in Vancouver.
What's more local than Kelowna, right?
Yeah. Well, I know you guys are out.
We sneak in the back door on that one.
Yeah.
We people don't need to know. They're like, oh, so whenever we have a guest, so where are you guys from? Kelowna. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not in Vancouver. Yeah. Not at all.
I'm on Vancouver Island, so I kind of have the same thing, right? So people are like, oh, Vancouver, and I'm like, well, kind of, but
it's in a general area.
Where on the island are you living right now?
Nanaimo.
Okay. I grew up in Campbell River, so that's
Oh, nice.
pretty close by. Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
been
I
to the
spent-
mall in Nanaimo and the Starbucks.
Oh yeah, Woodgrove Mall, probably second
Yes, that
best
was the
mall
one.
in Nanaimo. Yeah,
Yeah,
or
I was there.
second best mall on the island. Sorry.
Oh,
Um,
I was there.
I lived in Campbell River for like 3 years, so it has a special
okay.
place in my heart as well. So
There you go.
I've never been
Beautiful
to
town.
Campbell River. I've been to Parksville, been to Victoria,
Oh.
been to
Well,
Nanaimo, been to Port Hardy. I'm
Wow.
well traveled. Yeah.
oh,
You went to Port Hardy,
there
but
you go.
you didn't go to Campbell River. I don't know how that happened. But
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we
So-
drove through it. I was like
Yeah, you
13.
drove
I
through
don't
it.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was sleeping in the camper. I don't know. We were going fishing. I didn't really care. I was there to fish.
So you're going to fishing on the island, and you skipped over the salmon fishing capital of the world in Campbell River.
We had relatives in Port Hardy. We had a boat. Let's. I don't know. I was freaking 13 years old, man. I was there. To
Josh,
fish.
I'm really sorry about Ryan.
Yeah.
That's okay,
Yeah.
Dad. Yeah. You're going fishing, but you skip over the salmon.
Yeah. Hey, man. I was 13. I don't know any better. Jeez. Wow. This is a rough
You
start.
did sleep. You did sleep through it. You must. Have.
I must have clearly. So
Did you
I was
wake up
more
in Gold
concerned.
River, or where did you
Oh,
wake
wow.
up?
Good reference. Good pull there. Yeah.
Yeah. There's
I
not
don't
going to be
know.
many people who get it, but Ted, you get it. You get
That was the
reference.
other town I lived in. So, and maybe we'll go one further.
Oh,
And I actually
wow.
lived in Tassus too. So, yeah, spent some time on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right into the interior of the island. Then.
Yeah.
Man, Harrison Hot Springs, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Shout out on the island.
Boston Bar. Cool, guys. Let's name check the rest of British. So what's up with you, man? I mean, you kind of got a busy palette yourself. I see pretty much every time I'm
Yeah.
checking Twitter, you've made like the trip from the island to like the Whitecaps. Like, what is your ferry bill like?
Luckily, it's not too bad because it's only about $20. Oh, we got a fight here in the Canucks game. Sorry, I'm watching. I got that on the TV in the back.
Oh,
Pearson's
sure. I've got the
feeding shots to.
I've got the streaming feed, so it'll be in like 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Preemptive. I love
Well,
it.
they needed. That's
Got a
a good
couple.
start. They needed something.
Yeah, you need something. So yeah, my ferry travels. Luckily, it's not too bad. It's about $20 like a trip over. So it's about $40. I'm really cheap, so I take the transit. I take the bus, and we get our media meals. So I don't really have to. I can eat at home, and I can eat when I get home. So it's only about like $50-$60 if I want to keep it a cheap night. So
Wow.
it's not too bad, but it makes for long days, but it's definitely enjoyable. And I've had just a blast going over and covering the Whitecaps, and hopefully going to try and get over to cover the BC Lions playoff game on November 6th, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Now, I'm just trying to fact check. It was now your day job, because sports is a main one. If I'm not, it was Whole Foods, right?
Quality foods.
Quality Foods. Okay,
Yes.
I quit. I don't have. So what do you do? Like, what's your day to day? Do you manage, or what's the scoop there?
Well, I do a little bit of everything. I'm basically like a guy we have 3 stores here in Nanaimo, and I go around all 3 stores and I cover holidays of all the managers. Like if the produce managers take holidays, or the assistant managers or the store managers take holidays. I worked for Quality Foods for 10 plus years in the past, so I basically know how to do everything. So I just kind of like seamlessly fit into every role. I'm like the journeyman, like the Swiss Army knife. Yes.
There you go.
You cover like basically everything after that. So we'll get into a little bit more about you in a little bit here. Let's talk about the Canucks. Let's talk about the obvious that just happened on my drive home. Apparently, the Canucks have traded Michael DiPietro and Jonathan Myrenberg, their basically top prospect, right-handed defenseman, for Studnicka. Okay, 14th forward. Neat.
Yeah,
Great.
I'm trying to figure out how to pronounce his name. I'm glad you took a shot at it.
Barry
before I did,
Studnicka,
because-
and that's not his first name, but let's call him Barry. Then I don't have to look. So
Okay,
how do
that
we
works
feel
for me.
about, like, we knew DiPietro was getting moved. He had requested to be moved, obviously,
Yeah.
the way he was, treated in Vancouver with the previous regime. And I mean, I think they're trying to do him a solid and give him a fresh start somewhere where he could actually get some proper game time. There wasn't going to be a succession plan for him to make the Canucks at this point. Clearly, they had other plans with Seeloffs. They had obviously Spencer Martin last year and a guy named Demko. Even though we also thought that, DiPietro likely was going to be the heir apparent or at least a backup to Demko, and that just didn't pan out. Obviously, they crapped all over that. So they gave him a shot. Obviously, Boston seems like the obvious place to send your top prospects to. Makes sense. Let's make a team that beat us that much better down the line 12 years later. Or 11, I guess. We're at 11 now. Yeah, makes sense.
Math is my strong point either. So
hey, there's a lot of not strong points on this show, so this is par for the course. So I mean, Josh,
I've listened to it, and the reason I wrote about it is because there's a lot of strong points about
yeah, math just isn't one of them.
Math, yeah. I didn't say. I don't think I mentioned math on any of them.
Yeah. So we'll go with you first. Like, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, this is super fresh. Obviously, they're playing a game right now, and this news dropped a half hour ago. So
yeah, it was so interesting, right? Because I threw out the tweet and I was like, oh wait, so excited to join the PP1 podcast and chat some check notes. Canucks? Oh,
yeah.
You just scored?
Oh, I'm like, you're killing me, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
I don't know what I don't know what you guys are watching.
I'm
just watching on Telus on my TV. I angled it. I'll send you guys a picture. I had to re-angle my.
What's the future
TV.
like? What's the future like?
It's amazing. Right now, it's amazing.
The future is high def.
Oh wait. Oh.
So they actually did score?
I think it might actually. You know what? I think Seattle put it in their own net.
No, well, that sounds.
You take them any way that you can get them.
Perfect. We're live though, right? So.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we do.
Okay, so
what do you feel about this trade right now? Like, Ted, I'll grab your 2 cents in a second, but what are you feeling about this?
Well, like you mentioned, we knew Mikey DiPietro was going to be traded. He had mentioned that he wanted to be traded. His his agent had said something about they're looking at trade options. He was the third option behind Archer Seelovs and Colin Delia in the AHL there. I think Jeremy Colton was on, I don't know, he was on some media outlet and he spoke about how difficult it was to have 3 goaltenders to try and deal with. Yeah. So I'm not surprised that they dealt Michael DiPietro, or Mike. Is that what he's going by?
Mikey or Michael? I
okay. As long as Mikey. Yeah. But I'm not surprised that they, dealt him. But what was surprising was that they dealt Jonathan Meidenberg, their number 1 right-handed defense prospect in the system. Might not be their, number 1 defensive prospect, because I have to give love to my boy Yanni Jarmo, who's looking good for Jokerit right now in the Finnish league, and obviously Jonathan Meidenberg was playing in Allsvenskan in the second Finnish league. So, but he was really a top prospect. If you listen to anything that Chris Faber from Canucks Army and Canucks Conversation has been talking about, and he's way more in depth on the Canucks prospects than I am. I'm just like a Yanni Jarmo whisperer and a Klimovich whisperer. Anything other than that, no, not me. That's, go see Chris Faber. He's more dialed in on them, and he was very, very high on Jonathan Meidenberg. And watching some of the things that he has done, I can agree with what Chris was saying, and it's kind of disappointing to see the Canucks throw this one away. I'm not too familiar. I can't even pronounce this guy's name that the Canucks just
Studnicka.
Okay.
Barry Studnicka. It's not his first name. But. I'll get it here. It's not Barry. I do apologize.
It's Jack.
Jack, are you sure? Are we sure about this?
And he's a right-handed center.
It is Jack. You're right, Ted. Thank you.
Okay.
Obviously I'm right, Ryan. Sorry.
So he's a right-handed center, and that's obviously a need that the Canucks have. But I don't know. It just seems like they're doubling down again. Like they just to use a poker analogy, they just keep losing at the table, and they're just like, can we just we'll try it again.
Let's buy in again. Yeah. What's my buy-in? 30 grand. Okay. Can I get some money for that? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll do it again. Okay, well that didn't work out. Okay, well can I buy it again? Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Give us your money.
Exactly.
And it just seems like it's a double down, double down, double down.
Ted, what do you think?
I mean, there's a couple of things out there. Josh makes a bunch of good points and kind of talking about the history with DiPietro and obviously the fanfare that comes with a guy like Myrenberg. And we're always going to get a little bit of that, especially when we're talking about some sort of second and third round style draft picks. I mean, Studnicka and DiPietro were drafted around the same spot in the second round, right? So when you're not used to hearing about the guys that are, high-end draft picks or former first rounders, that type of stuff, you kind of get lost a little bit in the whole, like, I know my guys and I know my guys' good qualities. And although DiPietro wanted out, I feel like a lot of us felt like he was a good goaltending prospect. Obviously, he spent some time playing for Team Canada. He's played at both like the national men's level and he's played at the World Junior level, is backstopping them to a gold medal game. But we know that he wanted out. The flip side of the stuff is the Myrenberg thing, which Josh commented on, and obviously Favor has let us know about his play, and we've seen so many clips on the guy, and this team is just starving for a right-handed defenseman that can play and just control play. And those are some of the things that he had sort of, identified as good qualities for a guy like Myrenberg. So it's tough when you see the Canucks be in a situation where they're walking away from a prospect in position that they feel like they need, right? No, ultimately he is like a 5th round draft pick, so his chances of making the NHL are slim, even though Vancouver has had a ton of success developing, 5th round draft picks, for example, especially in right-handed defensemen.
They know how to dig deep on those guys.
They really do. And that's probably a lot of that's luck. That's not just a cornerstone of this franchise. But Studnicka is not like a terrible player, but the thing that I'm not like super great on is we're sort of trading one, and this might be like a harsh term, but one sort of busted prospect who's not quite panning out for another one, right? I mean, where there's lots of things to like about Studnicka's game. But we talk about guys like, Will Lockwood and even Jack Rathbone to a certain extent, where it's like, hey, you're 22, you're 23 years old. This is sort of your make or break season, right? You have to make it as a pro probably in the next year or two. Or it's, writing's probably on the wall for the type of prospect that you are. So Studnicka is already 23 years old, and he's had 3 seasons where he's played NHL games, and he had some good games playing in Oshawa coming out of the OHL, and a decent season in Niagara as well, clipping along at well over a point per game in his last year. So there's some things to like there. Center/winger, he's kind of like he's a thick guy, probably a little bit of physical. Some physical abilities that you like, and he kind of reminds me a little bit like of a Chris Kunitz style player.
But isn't it like a fix it now fill
in?
Well,
that's the thing, right? I mean, I think they're appeasing the move for DiPietro, but I'm not a huge fan of the moving away from Myrenberg thing, right? So it's okay, but the biggest thing about this trade though is it just doesn't really move the needle, right? I mean, it doesn't really do anything. It's kind of a net zero. We're never going to see the result of this trade, or it's very, very likely that we're never going to see the result of this trade.
No draft
have any ramifications for this club, right? Finally, no draft picks were given up, but then we're also hearing stuff like, Ethan Bear, possibility of him coming over to the Canucks as a 25-year-old defenseman that also is a right shot, but then having to see a guy like Höglander go out the door. So I'm also not thrilled about stuff like that. So it's good. I think the team recognizes that some moves need to be made, but I'm not really feeling like any of these moves really move the needle. I think for looking at things in the giant spectrum of it, I don't know if they amount to anything, to be completely honest.
So to roll into that, I want to get away from that trade because I don't want to spend the entire show talking about.
Well, it's new, it's fresh, right? I mean, we haven't really had time to really react to what the fallout of this trade is, but knee-jerk reaction says that
we're the only emergency podcast for that trade, so we've officially covered that.
So
is that what we're hanging our hat on there?
I think we seem to have these emergencies, like emergency podcast, like we were scheduled actually to record anyway, just like last week. One thing that
the trade got handed to you guys on a silver platter.
Oh, I mean, this is who's going to talk about it better, like the pregame show or an hour long? Yeah. Anyway, so Jim Rutherford was on After Hours on the weekend, which something Jimbo basically never did. And whether we wanted to hear what he had to say or not, I know it's been talked about ad nauseum. He did come out and he talked about a rebuild, and he talked, not that there was going to be one, but that it takes time, and kind of gave an idea of a few things. You got to admit, whether we like it or not, I mean, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't super informative, but he did a lot more than I think Jim Benning would have done in one of those. Like, we barely ever saw.
He already has.
Oh, that's my point. Like, he's already come out and he said a few things. Again, we can criticize what was said and what they're about to do, whether or not they are rebuilding. But he did come out and he said something which it's like that first step of the honesty kind of thing we've always been talking about. Like,
admitting you have a problem.
Like, yeah, like, we know what's going on. Just talk to us like we're adults. We're aware that there's a problem. And if you would just admit, like, hey, we're new in here and we've already made a screw up, and we understand that we overbought into what we had at the end of last year. And there's clearly some problems. We've also hit a ton of injuries, and it forced our hand to do this, even though that maybe wasn't as a knee-jerk reaction. We don't have to like that, but at least they're being honest, which to me, and I don't have to like it, but it's a fair start anyway. Like, we're not getting Travis Green. We're not getting, whoever the PR person. We're getting the person that is going to answer those questions. And I think take it for what you will, but it is a step in the right direction.
But
guys, the question on the rebuild is like a funny one too. Like, isn't it only like talking about rebuild time and how long they take if you actually start a rebuild?
Yeah, I guess so. That's fair.
Well, and to Brian, I would ask you, are they actually giving honest answers? I mean,
wow.
Jim Rutherford is definitely giving a lot more than we got in the past from, I guess, Jim Benning. But I mean,
Yeah.
Patrick Allvin isn't really giving anything in any of his answers. He's being asked like straightforward questions, and he's just dancing around it and changing. Like, it's beautiful. I mean,
you're still the no plan is still kind of there.
Like the PR spin, he's obviously being taught very well by the PR guys, and he knows what he's doing in regards to that fashion. But we're not really hearing any answers in regards from Patrick Allvin into what the future of the Canucks is.
Mm-hmm.
They're not giving they're not giving a vote of confidence to Bruce Boudreau. They're not giving a vote of confidence to whether they want to do a rebuild. They've doubled down on a roster that they said wasn't good enough. Like, I mean, I guess I'm hearing the right things from Jim Rutherford in some sense, but like from Patrick Allvin, who is the general manager of this team, I'm not really hearing the things that I would like to be hearing.
Maybe he just hasn't been given the reins yet. Maybe that's the other thing. Like, we're going to let the senior guys take care of this, which is weird because you have two people in positions of power, right?
Josh is knocking it out of the park right here too, right? I mean, like, we talked about this at the end of last season. We talked about this before Jimbo was sacked. We talked about this in year 1, 2, and 3 of winter is coming. And I still, I'll maintain this question and this comment, but I still don't know what the ultimate plan is for this team. I don't know what the direction is. Like, sort of, they continue to sort of hang on to players and double down on players, just like Josh said, and have confidence in the silver linings that happen on little winning streaks and things like that. And there's not really a ton of direction. The biggest moves that we've seen aren't really moves at all. They're big free agent signings, right? So I'm still having a hard time understanding what the real direction and real plan for this team is. And I don't know.
It's almost like they're going to come out and be like, we play at Rogers Arena. Well, we know that's true.
Enough for you.
True. That is true. But you're right. Like, it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors and a little bit of wordplay for sure. Now, I know one way
that. They might be like, guys, we play at GM Place.
Yeah, exactly. We're going OG mode.
That'll get the old timers.
So, Ted, you and I talked about this last season, and I have a new spin on this idea that I think you guys are really going to like. So the Canucks, they go on their Twitter, and they do the eyes. They do, the eyes emoji. Like
Oh yeah, yeah. When
what's up?
when something's
says,
happening. Oh
and
yeah.
it says it's
something's
in the
coming.
building. It says the eyes and goes, it's in the building. And then you get like, I don't know, whoever else has Twitter in the Canucks, and they're like, oh, it's in the building. And everyone's like, what? What's in the building? And then you see Phil Pritchard walking with this case, and you're like, oh, what?
Oh,
And
the
you
keeper
know,
of the cup.
you're like, the Stanley Cup is in there. Like, why else would Phil Pritchard be in the building? And he comes to center ice. They got all the lights. No one's in the building, right? No one's in the building. And he's coming up to center ice. He's got the white gloves on. Like, something crazy is about to happen. And he opens that case, and right behind you, he lifts out the skate jersey. And then Rutherford comes up and he goes, we have decided that the skate is now our jersey. Mass hysteria, huge distraction tactics. Everybody's just freaking out. Clearly chaos in the corner. Lots of chaos in the corner. Things are burning, rioting, whatever. They're giving up draft picks again, but they've got the black skate. And you know what? That buys you, what did I say last time? That buys you like at least a month of just like distraction mode. And we're going to all be talking about that. You've appeased way too many people in that exact moment. And now you can kind of figure some stuff out in the background. Like, hey guys, we've bought ourselves at least 2 weeks. We can spin this. We can get out there. We're going to show like, hey, check out like the jerseys. Not DiPietro. Sorry, he's not even here anymore. Demko's got a new helmet. Oh, Spencer Martin just got a new gear set. Wow. Pedersen comes out. He's like, oh, guys, check out my new fitted that I got. Skate logo, blah, blah, blah. They go all out. Full court press on that. You buy yourselves a month. We forget about everything that's going on because we're idiots and we're just all suckers for that stupid logo. And that's how it is. And Phil Pritchard just walks back right before the end of the video and just does the wink like, you're welcome. And he just walks away. Jerry Bruckheimer, please call me.
There you go. It's like Jerry Bruckheimer. Who's that other director? Ang Lee.
Ang Lee, yeah.
The doves
M.
flying
Night.
away in the explosion.
I'll get M. Night to do it, and all of a sudden, like, someone gets stabbed out of nowhere. Like, I did not see that coming. No. And then, like, Pedersen disappears. Like, where'd he go? We don't even know.
What? That would be a better hype video than the one they had. What did you guys think of the hype video?
I don't even think I saw it.
No?
No.
I saw I think they released like the first part. I don't know if they released the second part, but the first part I saw, it was
so like Tyler Myers in a kitchen or something.
Yeah, Tyler Myers was kicking people. It was kind of like a John Wick Mission Impossible style.
Like sudden death kind of.
Yeah. I don't know.
They can do better. Let's put it that way.
I think the last hype video that I really liked was the Halloween zombies one. I think that was
that was pretty cool.
I like the superhero one they did last year.
I think they should just do my idea. I'll give it to them for free. I'll give it to them for free. No smoke and mirrors, no extra things, just very simple. Like, he's here for a reason. It's big business. And we all win. We all shut up for like a month. Yeah, there's going to be a few people that can complain. That's the nature of Canucksdom. But, we all get distracted for like a month. And then by the time they've already made a move, we're like, oh, you know what? This is getting better. I'm fine with this. We're okay. Yeah, Stanika, why not? Sure. We got the skate jersey.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, wallpaper.
I'm not arguing with it. You guys can see the skate jersey in the back.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And
yeah, it would distract everybody from the filled to capacity infirmary. It'd be good.
Yeah. I'm just telling you, Mark, that kind of marketing sells. So
nobody's thrown a skate jersey on the ice. I'll tell you that.
No, not even maybe. I don't care what player's on there. Yeah. There's no way because you've invested your life into that jersey. Mm-hmm. Orca, sure. V, maybe. I doubt it. Even then, that's probably stretched. Johnny Canuck, maybe. Stick jersey, maybe. That's sacred. The skate is sacred.
Well, there's too many memories for people to want to throw it away, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That was my first riot. That was my first riot.
You can that should be like added along, like, oh, Canucks have big news, like it's gonna be a riot.
I was still young then. I was only 6 when that one happened. So I was like, Dad, what's happening? And he's like, don't worry, just be a Leafs fan.
Yeah.
Like, no, I
It's
can't
okay.
do that.
It's okay,
Now-
son. Surrey and Burnaby are fighting.
Ah, well, the Leafs are my second team, and I'm sure
Oh, well.
people know that probably.
That's fine.
Hold on, I'm getting a message here to leave the
Yeah,
the
can you
podcast.
please
Yeah.
just sign off every nice thing you said? We can pull this. We can edit whatever we like. It's live though. We can figure out a way.
I was like trying to think of a good way to like joke around about it, and then he just did it himself. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no self
Like,
deprivation. I know.
That's fine. That's fine.
But I give my dad some love. We always try and go to the Leafs Canucks games whenever they're in town. So
Wow,
they're
you guys
almost always
must
a
be
good time, right?
you guys must be super rich to afford to go to that game because that's like the hardest thing.
oh man, it's the last one. So I don't think we didn't go last year. I don't think we went. Maybe no, yeah, because the pandemic always just elapses time.
Yeah,
I think it
exactly.
was like 2.5 years ago. We went to one in March, and I think it was like $760 a ticket. We got like 5th row because obviously my dad doesn't get to see the Leafs very often. Being over
You
here,
go, you enjoy it.
yeah. So we get, but yeah, like I think it was like $760 a ticket for like 5th row.
Wow,
It was brutal.
that's wild.
I mean,
That's
it was an amazing time. Obviously, going to the game with my dad, and I got my Canucks jersey on. He's got his Leafs jersey on.
I've seen a few of that series, and it does not disappoint. I could have got. When was it? It would have been Willie Mitchell. I think was still there.
Oh yeah.
So it was a while. And I remember I had won tickets.
yeah.
I won tickets from 1040, and their row 4 upper bowl. Canucks shot twice, and the guy's like, "Are you gonna sell them?" I'm like, no. He goes, "You could get like $800 a piece for those." I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's the Canucks versus the Leaf on Hockey Night in Canada." I said, "I will not miss this for the world." So we ended up I got a Leaf suck button from a guy out front. It was awesome. So
I kind of know where to go and have my media in, so I was able to take him down, and he was able to meet Mike Babcock and
oh wow,
Patrick Marleau and
no kidding,
Cool, yeah.
and Hyman as
no
well.
kidding.
Yeah, and got them all to sign his jerseys.
Nice.
So it was funny because Mike Babcock was walking away, and he's like, "Oh no, guys, I'm busy." And I was like, "Oh," and I did my best Mike Babcock impression. I was like, my dad just goes to the rink, every day. He just, he loves his family, and he comes home and he does his best every day, and he just wants an autograph." And he turned around. He's like, "Okay,
That's good.
I'll give it to him." And I got a picture with him and my dad.
You
So
shot
my
your
dad-
shot.
Yeah, I shot my shot. My dad was pretty
Wow.
happy. I have another story that I can probably share with you gentlemen off air. I'm not going to share it with you on air. But yeah, ended up walking away with a game worn John Tavares jersey. So,
No kidding.
Nice.
but like
You-
I
did
said,
you traded them some
I could share that story off air.
traded them some brand new comforter sets, I'm sure. Brand new Leafs comforter set. Like, this is the new logo. You didn't have this as a kid. So I will trade you this. I know you're looking for it. I found it, and you like this.
Maybe banged on the glass a bit there when he was waiting and said,
Exactly.
John.
So I think one question that I want to answer or have answered here,
Okay.
obviously the Canucks are in a bit of a space right now, not including this game.
No, I'd say that
Injuries
lightly.
have I don't know. I mean, it's almost the same in the NFL with like the injuries and the trades. Like, it's just absolute chaos right now for the Canucks. But you look at this team, realistically, if we look at those first 4 games, like, they had 2 goal leads, right? They blew 2 goal leads. But it's not like they're getting blown out. They're not getting killed in these games. They've blown leads, they've blown games, but they've been in them and then they've let up. The Canucks aren't as bad as the record shows, and the record is not good. But they're not as bad as what it shows. Like, if we were to look and be like, wow, they lost again, they did this. Sure. This is a pretty bad stretch. It's a bad run. They've had some pretty bad puck luck, and just efforts haven't been maybe 100% where they should be. What do you guys think? I mean, are the Canucks actually bad, or is this just like between the ears is this something they can bust out of a funk, or is this truly like a tank for Bedard year? Ted, go for it. What are you feeling?
Like, it's not a tank for Bedard year because I just don't think
That's a
management
shame.
and ownership would allow for that.
Right.
Also, if this team was tanking for Bedard, they would pick 5th. So that's also a factor. Yeah, but I mean, I agree. The team is not as bad as this winless record indicates, but they're also only as good as a superhuman Demko can be. So if he's just even playing average, and he's way below average at the moment, I mean, this team doesn't have a hope and help because it's not constructed like that. And so I think on the whole, the decor they can only go as far as their decor can allow them, and it's not a good decor. And I mean, especially when you look at the injury reserve, we have Tucker Pullman is out. Whether you like Tucker Pullman or not, he has to play. He has to play in that that 6, right? I mean, then you're looking at Quinn Hughes. I mean, without Quinn Hughes, what is this team at all? If you miss 2 weeks of Quinn Hughes and say that's 5 or 6 or 8 games, like, good God, like, I mean, they're already 0 right now. And if you were to just stack any more on that for weeks away from Quinn Hughes, I mean, you're really looking at some severe times. You can see a guy like Riley Stillman come in, and he's already playing minutes on his squad, and he was just an afterthought brought in from somewhere else. He's already taking spots on this roster. And so now these guys are out. We're looking at 3 D-men who are all signed to play big minutes, except for the Stillman thing, even though he is on this roster. And this team just clearly doesn't have the depth to contend. So it's a little bit less of the fact that, Vancouver did make some improvements and they do have some of the horses on offense, but this defense is so bad that it's just crippling to the rest of the team. Not to mention, so many of the other teams in this conference just got so much better. So even though you made incremental improvements, it was leaps and bounds by other teams, and there's just no catching up when you can't get better just as fast as they can. So it's in serious trouble. I know management's talking about the fact that they don't want to push the panic button yet, but we should already be in a lesson. Yeah, we should already be in a lesson learned from this, because we pushed the panic button just a little bit too late. Maybe if we had done it for a couple of weeks earlier and brought Boudreau in then, maybe this team would have seen the playoffs. And we're sort of in that mode now. Do we want to let it go a few more weeks or whatever? Or do we want to push it now and start to make some changes, or at least define a path forward for this roster, whatever it may be? And I think fans will be okay with that as long as they're being honest with what the actual path is here.
Well, they just said about Meyerberg that he's 5 years away, is what Rutherford said. Well, okay. I mean, what does it say here? They said he's 5 years away. This was, where is the tweet here? Josh, head it up. I'll find the tweet. Keep going.
No worries. Meyerberg, yeah. I mean, obviously he's just a 19-year-old. He's not playing in the top Finnish league right now. He's just playing in the Allsvenskan.
Yeah.
For Mora IK. But he's what other right-handed shot defenseman do the Canucks have right now in the prospect pool? I mentioned Johnny Yormo a little bit earlier, but he's a left-handed defenseman.
Yeah. I mean, I shoot left, but I don't play.
And he's still a little bit. He's raw. He has the natural skills and the natural talent. He's a great skater.
Yeah.
Big man.
But huge guy, and he can skate, but he's learning still on the fly. I think he's going to take a step this year, and from talking to him, try and talk to him at least once a week here. And he's really enjoying what he's doing. He's got, a couple assists. He's almost basically equaled his goal or his points tally from last year already, but it's not something that the Canucks should have done here. They don't have D depth. Ted, you mentioned it, and I don't think necessarily that the other teams got better, but I think that the Canucks kind of stayed stagnant. Like the other teams were already better than the Canucks in the Pacific Conference. Like, if you're looking at Edmonton, if you're looking at Calgary, if you're looking at the Vegas Golden Knights, if you're looking at the Kings, they were already better than the Vancouver Canucks. They didn't really need to do anything more to get better than them. And the Vancouver Canucks didn't do anything to take a leap and a bound over them. And now that we're even seeing in this game, if you're watching it, I hope I kind of waited a couple minutes. Have you guys seen what's happening?
You're all good.
Okay. Seattle has tied up Vancouver 1-1 here in the first, just as
No
it's
kidding.
about to end. And Seattle's like, if Seattle wins this game, they're 8 points clear of Vancouver. And we're 8 games in. Like, it's
How's that for
It's a hell of
reality
a
check?
comeback story.
yeah, and I don't think it's a comeback story. I think it's just Vancouver doesn't have a solid defense core to try and match some of these teams.
We
They're
could almost
really
make a
lacking.
joke like, "Don't call it a comeback." They've been this way for years.
I want to.
It's not a joke. It's a fact.
Yeah, I know.
I want
And
to just.
that's terrible. That's what's still so bad.
It's not funny. It's not even a funny joke.
I do want to double down on what
it's kind of
Josh
funny.
is saying on the Myrenberg thing, and just pointing out that the fact that they're saying Myrenberg is 5 years away. So he's what, 19 now? We're looking at a 24-year-old defenseman. We just traded for a 23, 24-year-old prospect.
Yep.
So I mean, now we're talking about a guy who is in his make it or break it year, who you've had no time to develop on your own, and now, every year that goes by that you're not making the NHL from like 21 on, it gets a little harder, right? So why are we trading for a 10% a 10% chance of a guy making it in the NHL, where you could be developing a right-handed defenseman that you need as a lottery ticket who might have a prominent place on your roster 5 years away? And if you say he's 5 years away from making the roster, you feel like he's a guy that's going to make this roster. So I don't know if I completely understand the move, but I guess we'll have to figure out a little bit more about our new body, another winger, which is also crazy.
It's fine. You know what I do want to know more about? Move Health and Wellness. I'm good with these transitions. Move Health and Wellness. They are partnered with the PP1 podcast, and we support them. They support us. I need to get there pretty soon. I did joke about this, I think, on you probably do too. Yeah, I mean, it's that time of the year where our bodies are falling apart after a heavy summer sports season, whether it's golf or baseball or volleyball or summer soccer or whatever you do. I might have tennis elbow, and I don't play tennis, so I need to get that figured out. Maybe I can get my good friend Kaylee to get that figured out. Move Health and Wellness. We've got one location in Kelowna. Oh my goodness. Seattle scored again. Jared McCann.
Jared McCann too, right? Yeah.
Of course it is. Move Health and Wellness. They've got one location in Kelowna. They've got two in Surrey and South Surrey, right across from Ted. Do you remember? Surrey Memorial? And they've got one on King George. The Kelowna one, that's my favorite. That's where I live. That's, Ted, essentially kind of where you live also, in the greater Kelowna area, if we're going to be really specific on how big Kelowna could be.
Kelowna proper.
Exactly. It located inside the Jack Nathan Medical Center, inside of the Walmart, in the Kelowna side, not the west side Walmart. They've got registered massage therapy. They've got a chiropractor, our good buddy John. We have to get him on. I'm going to message him this week, try to get him on maybe in the next week or two. They also have counseling. They just added another counselor. So whether you're getting in there for your physical well-being or your mental well-being, they've got you covered on both of those aspects. As we've said, Dr. John's going to be there. He's not the chiropractor that you go in and get your cracky back, you get adjusted.
I mean, he'll do that if you want.
He'll do it, but that's not his job. That's not what he's there to do. He's there to get you better. He's there to create a plan for you. He's there to figure out how your movements are. Your first consultation is like 45 minutes. I'm like, wow, this is a lot of stuff. But I leave there. John gave me a game plan. I may not have to see him for a long, long time. I'm going to go see Kaylee because she's a massage therapist, and she corrects all of the owies that I have. She is pretty thorough. I will say that much. She's definitely very good at her job, and I'm usually bruised for 2 days, but it's worth it 2 days later. Parking. We talk about parking. Josh, I'm sure you've been to a massage therapist or a chiropractor in your life. You go downtown, right? And like, there's never parking for these small little clinics, right? It's always impossible. Driving around, waiting for some guy to come out of that one spot. It never happens. Walmart, you got tons of parking. You can go there. You've got yourself set up. You don't have to worry about being late. I mean, unless you're running late, that's on you at that point. You go, you get a parking spot. They've got online booking. They've got direct billing. This is basically the place to get you figured out, get you fixed back up. like I said, I got to get out there pretty quick here. I almost booked one yesterday at noon. I just couldn't make it work. Would have been actually quite helpful. So I'm going to have to figure out the next availability for Kaylee and something that works in my schedule. But you go online, you check out the Jane app. They've got the whole calendar there. You pick your hour or whatever you need, and then you go around, do the internet thing. You all know how the internet works. It's very helpful. You go on there, you get figured out whether it's John or Kaylee or their counselors. If you're going in Surrey, South Surrey, they've got also kinesiology. They've got physiotherapist. They've got cold laser therapy. They got a little bit of everything down there. Lower Mainland, they got a little bit more going on. It's the big city, the big smoke. They've got a few more options. I'm sure eventually Kelowna will have those options too. Takes a little while to build something great. The Canucks know all about that. They did anyway. Not at all the same thing now. Move Health and Wellness. Like I said, go support them because they support us. And quite frankly, I mean, you're going to be better for it. Move Health and Wellness. Get you figured out. Guys, we're almost done the show. Josh, we would like to talk a little bit more about you.
Can I talk a little bit more about Move Health and Wellness?
I mean, the floor is yours.
Holy
if you would like.
Smokes! What an ad read. Was that right off the top of your head? Do you have
It
that
always
written down?
is. It always
oh my
is.
God.
I mean,
Okay,
I'm trying to remember what I said last week, and I just continue to try to bank that up here.
Surrey kinesiology and, like tops in the Lower Mainland. You have places in Kelowna. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Then no one bothered to hire me out yet. I've got a pretty good radio voice. You'd think that I'd be hired out more for this stuff. So you can DM me if you guys need radio ads.
You went into it so seamlessly. It's not like you were like, I've been on podcasts before. They're like, hey, we're just gonna stop this now and we're gonna go into an ad break.
Insert ad read.
Insert ad read. And you just, oh my.
What else you got? What else you want me to sell?
Wow.
What do you got?
Jeez.
Stop. That's so shit. Tell me more.
Bring it up.
Hold on. I'll get some love from Sean here. You want to do a little like short plug for like Area 51 Sports?
That might be a stretch. That's a rival network.
You know what? We are going to hit a little. We are going to hit a. We're going to hit a spot in this podcast where we're going to leave it to you.
Don't worry, we'll give you your chance. That's on you. No, that's on you. We'll let you do that. Don't you worry.
Man, that's beautiful.
I was trying to come up with like a segment like produce or like produce, like producing something. Produce. But I didn't have anything on that, and I was really hoping you would have read my mind and come up with a really cool game. So, you know what? We can do this. We can still do this. Ted, I'm going to allow you to do your thing. Do your thing.
Like
Go
the
for it.
ending thing?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot of Canucks, and I mean, we can do anything, and then we can just like spitball. We've never really you know what? Before we do that, new season, we haven't had a lot of hockey to talk about, and you'd leave this show and you think, wow, maybe they don't like me because they didn't even bother to offer me clearly the greatest segment in Vancouver sports podcasting.
There it is.
I apologize. This is not like me. Usually I'm on this. Dudes and guys, obviously. We are going to get into dudes and guys. So, Josh, I know you listen to this show like before 32 Thoughts, before Canucks Conversation, obviously. Pucks and Net, most likely. Nice. Anything across the Area 51 network. I mean, Van Slam. Like, clearly, this one is dialed in for you, and you already have your picks. But in case you don't. Dudes and guys. Ted, first of all, would you like to explain dudes and guys for maybe first-time listeners?
Dudes and guys would be, believe it or not, just what it sounds like. So if you're a guy, you're just there. You're an also ran. I didn't recognize you because you were just a guy on the team. Like, just some guy. I'm not sure. It could be a good reason because you had a really bad game. Maybe you had a bad gaff. Maybe we just didn't notice you at all. Maybe you were a net zero or a big nothing. Multiple reasons why you can be negative. Just a guy, right? If you're a dude, I mean, that makes perfect sense to me, right? On a team full of guys, you are the dude. You're the reason. You're the only thing that's going well. You were a step above on the class. So I think it makes sense to me if you're picking dudes for the week or guys for the week, who might be a dude or a guy on this roster. And we usually start with guys. We do. And because you're our guest, Joshua, you get to go first. So who is your guy? Who is your And it can be anyone. We're like Canucks wise.
And
My
you can
guy
reach
is
deep. You can reach deep. Sometimes we're even allowing office staff, but we do prefer that it's on ice, but most likely.
Office staff. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It's like,
No,
wow.
no. I won't go there. I'll just say I'll say my guy is Pearson. Am I doing this
Okay.
right?
Yes.
He's a guy that needs to, yeah, he needs to
Okay.
step up. He's just a guy.
I like it.
He's
So
on the fourth. He's on the fourth. Like he's getting put on the fourth line with Neil Zaman and Dakota Joshua. Yeah,
you
you're a
understood
guy.
the assignment. You understood the
Okay.
assignment. Thank you. Ted, who's your guy?
My guy is going to be, and I hate to say this, I really do, but my guy, and not only for this past week, but my guy is Thatcher Demko. I mean,
Yeah.
Part of that has to do with the fact that it's not like Thatcher's terrible or he's a bad goalie. There's some debate on whether or not he was going to start this game tonight. It was some talk about Martin going in, but Noah Strang on Canucks Army pointed out, and I didn't even realize this, he's currently sporting a 4.06 goals against average on the season and a .872 save percentage.
Wow.
Oh, he's
Guys,
up to 872.
He's up to 872, guys. These are historically terrible numbers. This is Troy Gamble of the 1992 Vancouver Canucks numbers. Like this is
At
not.
least there was a team in front of him.
This is bad, guys. Like and part of the reason is he's also facing the most shots in the league. He's also facing the second most high danger shots in the league. But ultimately, it's always kind of been that way for Demko, and we've just needed to be him to be still the kids are getting ice.
Did someone break into your house, Ted?
The superstar of this team to make these saves that he's not supposed to make for the Canucks to even have a chance, and for him to just be even human. This team is toast. So anything less than stellar, 98 overall Thatcher Demko, he has to be a guy, unfortunately.
It was pretty close. Did I pick him last week? I feel like I did.
I can't remember.
I feel like I did. Anyway, Oliver Ekman-Larsson is my guy this week. There was a tweet. We were talking about tweets today. If he wasn't making the money he was making, he would have been on waivers already. That's a pretty damning statement.
Cam Sharani.
Yeah, that's right.
Canucks talk with
that's right.
with Jamie Dodd and Thomas.
So
yes,
when you hear a comment like that, that's bang on. When you hear a comment like that, that should worry you of what the state of your team is. If now we need to get past contracts because clearly, we're aware. We've read the room. We understand how contracts have been dealt. We understand what we're working with as a fan base to see how this team is trying to get out of the massive debt hole that they have. But Ekman-Larsson had a pretty good season last year. And, I mean, no one's really looked good aside from a few players so far for the Canucks. And you would think that at the very least, like the back end would kind of help you out. And if Quinn Hughes is gone, Pullman's got there's all these guys that are getting injured. You would figure like some of these veteran guys would kind of step up and maybe put a little bit of the team on their shoulders. And Ekman-Larsson has been an absolute, to me anyway, a no-show. I mean, sure, he's got 4 assists, super. He's a -3, which isn't a great stat, but I don't know. I'm not buying what he's selling, and I don't even think he's selling. So he would be my guy of the week. And you know what? I don't even want to get into it any further. Josh, who is your dude? Who in this dark timeline so far has brightened your day, has said, dude, that's my dude right there?
Well, it's funny because before Ted gave his answer on who was his guy, I had written down 2 people I had for dudes. And one of them is obviously Petey, who can deny the crazy impact that he has had this season. He is skating fast. He is getting it deep. He's making plays. It's not his fault. Kuzmenko and Mikheyev, who thankfully got on the board tonight, isn't capitalizing on their chances. But the other one that I wrote was Demko. And
I mean, don't worry about Troutzen all over me. Like, man,
I do it all the time.
If you do, go after it. Yeah.
Well, Ted, you even kind of fed to my argument when you said that he's making all the saves that he needs to. So, what's the problem? He's making all the saves that he needs to. That he's not stealing games like last year. and being
That
like
would be the reason.
an otherworldly goaltender and being
Also
like
true. Yes.
10 plus goals saved above expected. Like,
Yes.
is that like we've already talked about how porous the defense is and how they're not giving Thatcher Demko any help. The forward group isn't really giving Thatcher Demko any help. When you're doing a back pass at your own zone and you're giving up a 2-on-1, like that's a goal. Like Thatcher Demko can't save that, and he's getting really close, which is the funny thing. But I don't think that he's being down at all in his gameplay compared to last year. Yes, maybe he's not like stealing the games, but I really don't think that it comes up to him. And he's been one of my dudes, along with Petey. And I think that we're going to see him kind of take the next step, whether it be right now, whether it be later on. But who knows? I mean, they could trade Thatcher Demko tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised about it.
I like how you have a half smile. They're like, whatever. I'm just like, you could just like literally cancel the entire team and just move them. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
They're like, 7 years. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
That sounds fine.
We'll get another team eventually. It's fine. I'm gonna steal dude. Maybe I'm gonna steal dude, and you might pick him. You might not. That's okay. I was gonna go for the $1 million man, but I'm gonna go for the guy that's trying to be the $1 million man, Bo Horvat. Bo has been pretty consistent, and that's saying a lot on this team right now. It's like if you're trying and there are actual results attached to your trying, that is alone a dude quality. We're really reaching. I mean, obviously JT Miller's played pretty well, but Bo takes this seriously. He did see his jersey on the ice when that happened, and I mean, he's one of those heart and soul kind of guys. He had assists last game, but he's had 4 goals in the last 5 games. I do believe that he's going to score tonight. You guys obviously have an advanced feed, so it may have already happened. I have no idea, but I'm going to go with a guy like Bo Horvat because I got to believe that there's a plan for him. I've got to believe that he salvages what he's worth. At the same time, like you said, whatever, if you're going to trade him, just get something good for him. But Bo Horvat, my dude of the week. I am shedding a few tears because this team hurts my feelings a lot. Ted, you're on mute. Who's your dude?
My dude. And I'm going to go, like, obviously, a little cheeky on my last one. I'm going to go cheeky again for my dude this week. I feel like this whole dudes and guys segment is just, like, rife with sarcasm. My dude for this week is Connor Garland. And it's not his 2 goals. It's not his 2 goals. It's not his one of the team leading best plus minuses at -1. Guys, Connor Garland is the dude this week because he broke up the argument between JT Miller and Luke Schenn.
Give him the captaincy.
Yeah, do something. Somebody did something.
At least throw an A on him. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, he saw the argument. He was in the back corner. I'll give a play-by-play coming all the way down, cuts through the swath of Canucks players doing nothing while this argument is going on. I assume I didn't see it because it was too quick, but pulls a quick spinorama to get in between Schenn and Miller and breaks this argument up before it gets any worse and any more crowd can see it. We all know what's going on, but thank goodness, Garland was there to do something for it. For that reason alone, he's my dude this week.
You never need a good reason. That's a really good reason. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
That's a good
Ed, you want to lead off the final there?
Yeah, I mean, Josh, it's been great having you on the show. We haven't done a lot of guests in the last little while, so this has been a really fun one. But we always get to the part where we do shameless plug time. So we'd like to give you 30 seconds. Take a minute because you're just such a good guy, and I really liked your dude this week. But take 30 seconds or a minute and just tell us what's going on in Josh's world, what's happening with Area 51, the podcast, guest shows, spots. Tell us anything that's cool, and please plug away for everything you got.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's been just a blast to talk Canucks hockey with you guys, despite, how somber it has been to start the season with the 5-2 record and everything just in disarray. But check out all the stuff that I'm doing on the Area 51 network with my podcasts for the Van Slam, and hopefully getting to get Point Shot back up pretty quick here as Bill is in the United Kingdom, actually in England.
Kidding.
Yeah, so we're gonna try and figure out a time and get the Canucks talk back going there. Obviously, we have the Van Slam going, and then I have all my writing for the Whitecaps and some of the Canucks stuff, and my article where I featured all of the great options that we have on the Vancouver sports landscape in a 3-part article, starting with the big wigs for Sportsnet 650, Dolly, and all that jazz, and kind of moved my way down with Canucks Army, Area 51, and then moved into all the podcasts we have with the PP1 podcast and all the great stuff that you guys are doing. So just check me out on there and follow me on Twitter at Joshua Griffith 0, as you can see down at the bottom.
Which is not his full last name. The 0 was part of his Twitter handle.
0, yes, my last name. My parents did not name me Griffith 0.
I mean, that would be pretty ballin' though when you think about
it. That would have been if they had thrown a number in my last name. Like
Griffith? No, it's 0 actually.
Yeah, it's Griffith 0.
Yeah, I like it that you're the before the first. Like, I'm so important. Like, you better recognize when the first one shows up.
Well, I don't think I don't even know if I tried to get one, but I know that Joshua Griffith was taken, and the guy hasn't even done anything on Twitter. He's not even active.
Oh yeah, I run into that with my name. That's why I have the stupid name Twitter handle as well. But I actually have a number in my name, and it's actually super annoying. So you did good not being Josh Griffith. Yeah.
And it's funny because that's not even a number that you use for sports.
No.
Which is interesting. So you own it, and I appreciate that.
Slam ball. You could use it in slam ball.
There you go. We'll get you signed up for that.
Can you imagine how injured I'd be if I played slam ball?
Oh yeah, you'd be a killer game 1, and then you'd be done for the season.
I would peak early. Yeah,
you'd be shredded.
I don't think very many of them played more than one game.
Yeah,
it was just like a rotating cast, and they're oh my god, my Achilles.
Yeah, you're toast after one game for sure. We're gonna cut everybody loose. As you guys have noted, we've broadcasted our name multiple times during the show, but in case you just only listen to the end of podcast, which would be super weird, but hey, you do you. This is the PP1 podcast. This is on the Dean Blundell Network. We are partnered with Move Health and Wellness. Make sure you check us out, obviously, on YouTube. You can comment along as Max did for the period that he posted. Thank you very much. Thanks for acknowledging that, Ted. That was a big part of the show this week. You can also check us out on Twitter, on Instagram, or YouTube, as I said. We do a little bit of blogging over on the Blundell site. There's some big changes coming there. I can't wait. There's so much to share, but we don't have time right now. Make sure you check us out on there. Make sure you see us on our live stream, as well as the podcast itself. You can go, hey, Google, listen to the PP1 podcast, and it'll work like that. That's how technology works. Joshua Griffith, thank you very much for coming by. We appreciate it. Good luck in all your endeavors, and I'm sure we'll have you on again. On behalf of Ted and Josh, I'm Ryan. This is, as I said, the PP1